What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my brand new video. And as you might have already seen, what is the topic, and so you might have already some idea what I'm about to say, what the video is about. And if you are new here, I would like to request you to make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification so you never miss a video. Okay, so today we are diving, as you have already seen in the topic, diving deep into one of the most legendary opening in chess history. It is one of the best opening you would listen from a average player as well as from the grandmaster as well, the Ruy Lupez. Also called, it is also called the Spanish opening, and this has been played at the highest level for centuries and for good reasons. It's rich, complex, and gives white fantastic winning chances if black doesn't know what they are doing. We are going to cover three of the most popular variation after move 9, because 9 moves are its common moves in most of the variations. So by the end of the video, you will understand the idea behind each and every move, and you also know what to play. And it is just the opening, okay? So after that, you would have to learn everything by yourself, okay? So as I have already told you that it has nine of the various like nine moves. It has is common, okay? So let's go and look what the nine moves are, okay? Okay, so let's start the common moves. Okay, let's start. Okay, as I've said that there would be the nine moves that would be the common on every variation of Ruy Lupez. So without any delay, let's start it. Okay, so so the so the Ruy Lupez starts with white playing e4. Okay, white plays the e4, claiming the center immediately. Okay, so black also copies the move and plays e5. Okay, black also tries to get the center. So after that, one of the next move of Ruy Lopez is knight f3. Okay, attacking the pawn on e5 and developing a pieces. Okay, so after that, black defends with knight to c6. Knight to c6 is one of the many, okay, one of the moves that determines that this opening will be called Ruy Lopez or not. Okay, so there is the option to call option to play d6 to defend the pawn, but okay, that would be a different variation. But as the opponent plays knight to c6, that is going to be called Ruy Lopez in the very next move after playing a signature move, which is bishop b5. Okay, and this bishop b5. So now this is Ruy Lopez. White pins the knight. That's defending on e5, and now black responds with a6. Okay, this top three is for Ruy Lopez, but Ruy Lopez has still got some uh, 5 to 6 moves more. Okay, so as now you can see that um, it is being attacked. Okay, so rather than taking it, okay, like taking it is a good option, which will lead to a pawn up, but after he pushes the pawn, takes take and everything, after the king comes ahead, that would be a different story. Okay, so for now, we are not going to take the knight. We are going to go back on a4, bishop a4, keeping the pin alive. Okay, so after that, our opponent does not focus on the bishop. We focus on the his development. Okay, with knight to f6. So after this, the white castles. Hmm? After this, white castles, getting the king to safety. Black plays bishop e7, being ready for his castle as well. Okay. So after that, the white plays rook to e1, attacking on e4. Now as the most of the development has been completed, now it's time to attack. Okay. So here the bishop gets attacked on a4, which comes to the safety with a bishop on b3. Okay, so black plays d6, supporting the pawn on e5. Hmm. supporting the pawn on e5, also making the way for white bishop. Like the white bishop can come up and go for g4, probably going for the knight pin. Okay, so after that, white plays c3, trying to go for d4, like attacking on the center. Center is everything. Okay, so after this, like after this, the black castles and like keeping like this black bishop is going to be somewhat of annoying. The white plays s3. So this marks the end of the 9 common moves of Ruy Lopez. Okay, most of it is this. On any variation you would see, you would start. So let's go to the variations without any delay. So the first variation is called the Chigorian variation, and in this variation, the ninth move. Okay, so the ninth response. Okay, last time the white played s3. Okay, on previous closing of the introduction, or let's say the common nine moves. So after this, the black will play knight to a5, attacking the bishop on b3. Okay, it is like attacking the bishop on b3, and it will first force the bishop, okay, white bishop to retreat from this position to any other, which is most likely c2, and however, this is also important that the knight is now sitting on the edge of the board on a5, which is not a good square for the knight, which is considered which is not considered a good square for the knight. Okay, so with this, the bishop defends our response with bishop to c2, and white will not keep his bishops easily because the bishops are one of the powerful pieces on board. Okay, so after this, the black starts. Okay, so the black starts to continue its momentum on the queen side, let's say with e5. Okay, so after that, the white also has to gain some of the squares, so he responds with bishop, not the bishop, sorry, pawn on d4, gain him some space and creating central tension. Okay, so this pawn in the center is one of the key positional elements in this Ruy Lopez. Okay, so after that, the black is going to like put its pressure on the center. Okay, so with knight to d7, like if anything is captured, it will be able to take. Okay, so after this, as white has sorry, so as white has developed, as black has developed its knight to its one square, white will also try to develop its knight with uh, with giving the knight on b1. It's b1 a good square. Okay, so after that, the black is most likely going to take the pawn because that is going to be because that is going to be a good thing, because that will also be one of the things that it has taken the pawn, and now somewhat there would be a control on the center. Yeah. So after this, the white takes, the bishop goes back, attacking on b4. Okay, attacking on b4, which, like let's say after the pawn takes, then the knight will not be able to take, creating some pressure. White responds with d4, like kicking the knight away from that position. Now the black has got an important square, which is e5, where it can control most of the centers. Even though the knight is defending here, the e5 knight has gone as on is on good square, because that is defended by the another knight. Like even if there is a trade, it's going to be a good position for the knight. So after this, the center is quite taken by the black. So in this position, the white will push the pawn so that the squares will be freed. somewhat. Okay, so I think that is it. Okay, and that's it for one variation. So let's move into the another variation immediately. So okay, so time for the second variation. Okay, the second variation is called the jet shape variation. Okay, so in this variation, uh, after the first nine moves, the common moves that I have told you on the starting of the game is is played. So after that, it's black sun. So the black is going with bishop to b7. Okay, bishop to b7, and this one has in a massive boost in popularity recently, and it's easy to see why. Okay, like it immediately you know gets this whole diagonal. Like most of the people are playing it. Okay, and it is called development as well. So after that, the white also try to look into the center, and d4. It like the white plays d4 to attack onto the center, preparing the you know center grab. Okay. After that, the white plays the black plays e8, which develops the rook, also gives the space for the bishop. In response to that, the white is developing the knight, and in that response, okay, the bishop is going to that another diagonal. The white develops on the queen side, also showing the domination. The black, is taking too much time on keeping the bishop on the big diagonal. Bishop goes back. Bishop goes to the diagonal, and bishop gets and b4 is captured, which means that the white is on a good position. So from this point onward, okay, at this point, white enjoys a very comfortable and a well coordinated position. And this variation is a very sharp, deeply analyzed variation, and it is one of the many variations, one from the many variations where the grandmaster would like to play. So let's move on to the third one immediately.
Okay, so on to the third one. Okay, so the third variation is called Breyer's variation, and in this third variation, this is one of the most respected variations of all. Okay, so in this variation, as we have already talked about the common moves. After the common moves, in this move, first the knight goes back to b8. After that, the white, as usual, attacks on the center. After that, white uh, attacks. White first brings the knight to d7 as an bringing the knight to an attack. After that, white brings his knight out. Bishop is on development, taking the whole diagonal. Bishop comes back so that it can attack to the king directly. So after this, an officer pawn is strong. Okay. So, but in this situation, the white goes to the center, like taking the more grip. Now this pawn cannot be kicked out. Yes, the black also takes some good square from white or controls a good section of third row. So after this, the knight starts starts to build up for the attack on the king side, and the queen also does some development. The knight goes to g3, completing the development here. Yes, in this situation, black stops. Black stops the knight's knight space by stopping its square to that moves on. So, and this moves creates a weakness, which is h6, and the bishop takes its advantage by going on h6. After that, the rook is taken to safety, b8, and yes, this starts, and the queen supports the bishop. Okay, so this is the last variation. This is the last variation, and after this, and I hope you would have loved this strategic, Ruy Lupez, which is one of the best opening for the white, and and um, and all these three variations of Ruy Lupez, each one has its own flavor. Each one has its more variations. Like the every move will not be as it is on this video, but it will it will give you some idea to prepare about how to go forward on Ruy Lopez. Okay, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and it genuinely helps the channel grow and helps other chess player find this content. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell notification so that you can get notification every time I upload. Drop a comment below if you have any suggestions on how the video can be improved, how the variations can be improved. Everything will be welcomed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Take care. Until next time, guys.